Another great chapter in horse racing, wasn't it? Fantastic for Sheila Laxon, Scott Seamer and Ethereal.
Yes, indeed. Thanks very much, Jim. Next in 7 News, we cross back to Flemington and David Brown and track colour, the highlights of our wet Melbourne Cup.
This is National 9 News with Peter Hitchener.
Ethereal takes the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double.
New Zealand mare Ethereal and trainer Sheila Laxon combined to create history at a rain-soaked Flemington. Good evening. Racing's Kiwi double act has again won the hearts of a nation with Ethereal's courageous victory in today's Flemington Classic. Sheila Laxon is the first woman ever to train a Melbourne Cup winner, Ethereal only the third mare to win the Cup's double. And a crowd of 92,476 watched their triumph amid drama and drizzle. Anthony Mithen starts our coverage.
The field was down to 22 after the late withdrawal of wet track duffer Carpstad Way, on the heels of Universal Prince failing a vet test this morning. But nothing was going to stop a couple of tough females from the Shaky Isles and a Queensland jockey with the faith of a priest in his horse.
Ethereal's coming hard on the outside. The New Zealand mare. Ethereal after Gibbs slip. Ethereal hit the lead in the cup. Ethereal takes the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double.
Scott Seamer travelled to New Zealand mid-year to gallop the horse in preparation for the spring. Now all his efforts are repaid and then some.
Now, what if someone had said to you, you're going to win the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double in the year 2001?
Well, I would have told them in a few other words too that I'm mad.
If Seamer was smiling, trainer Sheila Laxon was over the moon, emulating the effort of her husband Laurie, who won the race with Empire Rose in 1988.
Definitely when she straightened up and started to kick, oh, that was massive. That was massive.
But there was drama unfolding among the roses. Seamer's glorious ride back to scale, suddenly a fight for survival. Spooked by the crowd, Ethereal dumped the hoop, who twisted an ankle, but would not be denied.
He wants to get back on, get back up there, doff the cap and accept the cheers of the crowd.
The injury, just a blip on a day Seamer will long remember.
A couple of streamers come out of the crowd and hit me, my mare and the clerk of the course. And the clerk of the course knocked me off mine, and then I was trying to hang on to her and he trod on my foot, so yeah, but everything's okay.
For Ethereal, the horse appropriately named after the stars, she becomes the third mare to win the Cup's double, joining Letzelope and Rivette. This was a training performance of enormous magnitude. Given that the Melbourne Cup was an afterthought, the horse supposed to go home to New Zealand a week after victory at Caulfield. Owner Peter Vella, the principal of New Zealand Bloodstock, was generous in his praise for the trainer and the smartest decision of his life.
I'd like to thank all of those friends of mine who told me what a goose I was for not immediately setting her for at the moment that she won the Caulfield Cup, and I thank them for their advice and counsel, and I'm delighted that I took it.
Anthony Mithen, National 9 News.
He was given no hope by his rider, and I got a bit critic also, Damien Oliver. Why did he get so far back in the race?
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure about Damien. He was a long way back, I must admit, but he drew wide. You know, the horse isn't the best of the beginners. I just thought the one you probably had to be most critical of is the one on the leader there. Give the slip. Only horse to come down the inside there, and it was a no-go zone. Buffalo Run almost fell over coming along the fence there earlier in the day. He was so tired. It was costing three laps, I'd say. And there's Scott Seamer just steering their home in the best man for sure.
And Scott was able to hold the mare up at the top of the straight. That's been a thing over the years where horses or jockeys have taken off too early.
Thicker weather forced the cancellation of fashions on the field for the first time in Cup history. Not even the faithful umbrella could save stylish hats and heels from a drenching.
Horizontal rain and wild wind wreaked havoc with Flemington's fashion fillies. No matter how hard they tried, the odds of staying dry were against them.
Try and keep out of the rain, but I'm not doing too good at the moment.
Battlegrounds were set in the judges' paddock, the brolly, this year's essential item.
Trying to get through basically, but yeah, and trying not to hurt anyone. We made our brollies like last night, so we thought because it was going to rain, we quickly made them.
Not even the temperature plummeting to 13 degrees deterred this frockless female from enjoying herself. Some just couldn't resist keeping their outfits to a minimum. Despite the constant drizzle, fashions on the field entrance were determined to shine.
They're courageous. Women die for fashion. Their heels. One nearly went over here. She was head over heels.
And you've got these gorgeous hats made of cinnamon, and you've got sort of slippers or beautiful shoes. I mean, rain is the worst thing, as it is for shoes. They will just die, which is really, really sad.
Without question, the most fashionable place to be today would have to be in the bar. It's warm, it's dry, and it's thirst quenching. Cheers! Cheers! The inclement weather won out over the fashion stakes. Organisers cancelling the event for the first time in Cup history. 4 heats will now be held on Oaks Day, and so far the forecast is favouring the ladies.
You can spin around.
Raquel Stevens, 10 News.
And that is 10's late news for this Tuesday night. Stick around now for Sports Tonight with Matthew White. I'm Jessica Rowe from the team. Good night.
It's the pinnacle of spring racing. It is the Melbourne Cup Carnival. The thrill of the track, the tradition and the temptation. It's all here on Sports Tonight. Well, it's almost 8 hours since the 141st running of the Tui's new Melbourne Cup. But tonight, the magic is still in the air here in Melbourne after Sheila Laxon and Ethereal made it Ladies' Day a couple of days early. This evening on Sports Tonight, we'll relive the race and reflect on what type of history the Kiwi trainer and her 4-year-old mare created at Flemington today. But to get the full Cup story for 2001, we'll have to go right back to the early hours of this morning when Bede Murray lost his battle to keep Universal Prince in the field. And of course, later in the show, we'll have the rest of the day's sporting news. But first, let's join the Cup party. Covering the celebrations tonight, Ryan Phelan.
Matthew, today's Melbourne Cup belonged to 2 wonderful ladies, trainer Sheila Laxon and her mare Ethereal. Sheila actually postponed celebrations so she could drive the horse home in the truck. That's how down to earth she is, but when she did arrive at the celebration dinner, she received a rousing reception. Never as a female trainer won the Cup, and the last mare to do it was Let's Elope. Sheila celebrated with jockey Scott Seamer and owner Peter Vella and friends, and the win is yet to sink in.
What a good horse. That was a very courageous winning. Cracky, she's got to be world class on being able to do what she did today.
Melbourne Cup winners was probably beyond my wildest dream. You dream about breeding good horses and horses that are competitive and race well, but the Melbourne Cup's the Melbourne Cup, and you don't even allow yourself to fantasise about that one.
Probably the last 5 years come a real long way, but today's pretty much the pinnacle of Australian racing for a jockey, so I've accomplished that, so I'm very happy.
Back home in Hamilton, I think they went pretty hard pretty early, and I think they've fizzled out in the last hour or so.
It hasn't really sunk in, but maybe in a week or so it might. Hopefully down the track it might, you know, propel me to better things, but we don't know until it happens.
I just felt fantastic. I thought, oh, you know, she made the others look like they were standing still. It was just, she is incredible.
You know, it'll take something pretty special to beat today's effort. In terms of history, it looks like this. Ethereal is only the 11th horse to win the Cups double, Caulfield and Melbourne, and only the 3rd mare to do so. In becoming the first female trainer to win the Cup, Sheila Laxon also joins her husband on the winners list. Laurie Laxon won in 1988 with Empire Rose. So now, let's go racing and see how history happened today.
Wet conditions couldn't dampen the mood of the crowd, but the track downgrade to dead meant the end of the road for Carpstad Way. He joined early favourite Universal Prince on the sidelines, with a final field of 22, one of the most open in years. Sky Heights the ruling favourite, with Caulfield Cup winner Ethereal and lightweight Rain Gauge, the only other runners at single-figure odds. The scene set for the greatest moment in Australian racing.
Racing in the Cup. Freemason from the outside stall jumped away well. So too did Pastor Express near the inside with Prophet's Kiss and also Rum. Spirit of Westbury, May the Horse Be With You, Celestial Show. They're all handy in the early part of the race.
Sky Heights hooked back to the tail of the field as British galloper Give the Slip made the early running. That's how they remained round the back of the course. Give the Slip setting a solid tempo from Freemason, with Celestial's Show in the box seat. Top weight Persian Punch caught out wide, with Karazi in 5th place. Heading for home, Give the Slip lived up to his name, racing to a handy lead.
Give the Slip in front, 4 lengths to the mare Ethereal giving chase, then Persian Punch, further back to me, the horse be with you. The leader Give the Slip, Ethereal's coming hard on the outside, the New Zealand mare, Ethereal after Give the Slip, Ethereal hit the lead in the cup, Ethereal takes the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double, Ethereal and Scott Seamer have beaten Give the Slip.
Ethereal's relentless surge snatching victory from Give the Slip and ensuring a massive payday for Kiwi owner Peter Vella.
It's a hell of a thrill, and I've been in Melbourne now for 3 or 4 days, and everywhere you go it's Melbourne Cup, and the pressure builds and builds and builds, and I'm delighted it's over, and I'm thrilled with the result.
A dream come true for unheralded jockey Scott Seamer. His perfectly timed ride a key to Ethereal's success, and he was quick to pay tribute to the gutsy mare.
She tried her heart out. She's no mucking around coming back today, but no, she's certainly one of the top, best ever horse I've been on, and probably one of the best fillies, you know, to race in the both cups.
Seamer will have some battle scars to remember the occasion.
It wasn't really her fault. Someone threw some streamers at the clerk of the course. He come back, hit my mare, knocked me off, and then I was just trying to make sure she didn't get hurt, and the clerk of the course spun around and trod on my foot.
The momentary drama forgotten as Ethereal's trainer Sheila Laxon brought her beloved horse back to scale. An amazing triumph for the former jockey, who was severely injured in a fall 10 years ago.
Congratulations. What about that?
That was all right, wasn't it? Isn't she super?
I think she's super, and I bet you do too.
She's the best.
A Kiwi winning the Melbourne Cup once again, but nothing but cheers for 2 tough Sheilas.
The official placings 13, 5 and 1. These are the local divvies. Ethereal paying $10 and $3.70 the place. Give the Slip $12.30, Persian Punch $5.20. A good return on the Quinella, even better the trifecta. Now, to find out why Ethereal was so wound up after the race, I tried to keep the pace with a strapper, Karen Slavin.
What an amazing feeling. Ethereal is very, very fiery.
Yes, she certainly is. Yeah, but I think she knows she's won something big. She does seem to know. She's that sort of horse.
And does she normally carry on like this?
Yep. In the paddock, she's like, you could leave a baby with her. She is the most gentle horse. Bring her out on race day. She knows exactly what's happening. And she went once. The second you bring her out of the stall, she's a different horse.
I tell you what, I'm getting dizzy. You enjoy the celebration.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff there. Let's wrap up our race details with the full placings and our thanks to Karen Slavin, the strapper. 22 starters because of the 2 scratchings of Universal Prince Carpstad Way at the barrier. You know the top 3, of course. 4th went to Karasi. 5th, May the Horse Be With You. And 2 of the most heavily backed, Rain Gauge and the favourite Sky Heights finishing 6th and 8th. That is the first half of the field. Here's the bottom 11. In 15th position, another popular choice today, Run. Now, officially, last place goes to horse number 12, Pastor Express, because the other 2 horses there, Hill of Grace and Curata Storm, didn't finish. Curata Storm lost the rider. It was all over in just over 3 minutes, and that is how they finished the 2001 Melbourne Cup. As always, it finished with excitement and jubilation, but Cup Day this year started with pure drama and heartbreak. Bede Murray and Universal Prince losing their fight to stay in the field, punters losing millions of dollars.
Bede Murray is a broken man, his dream in tatters.
Nothing worse.
No. Like last week, not coming back?
Oh, no.
Universal Prince emerged just before 7 o'clock, needing to prove his fitness to run in the Melbourne Cup. But on the biggest day on the racing calendar, this would be as close to the Flemington stands this horse would get.
I reckon he's no different from he was on Saturday.
And what do you think?
Bullshit.
Go to be
Fair even.
There's no question in our mind the horse is lame, and on that basis it's not suitable to run.
The horse is 101%.
So this horse is going to be in its box at 3:10 when you've got a live chance to win the Melbourne Cup.
That's right.
Universal Prince was scratched because of a lame right hind leg. Murray is adamant the vets are wrong.
You guys haven't laid a hand on this horse. And I said, come back to the stables, diagnose where the problem is. I want to know. I know there's no problem.
I have great sympathy for both he and the owner and anybody else who's backed the horse in pre-race betting.
Those words no comfort to a devastated man and his equally devastated team.
There were 9 other races on the card today, and like the Cup, they also provided their share of spills and thrills.
Horrific conditions greeted racing fans for the start of Cup Day, making the job of calling almost impossible.
Yeah, let's go up to Dan, and Daniel, good luck.
The weather improved, but only marginally for the Great Western. The Lee Freedman-Damien Oliver combination started favourites with Moon Dragon, and, as he's done all spring, D. Oliver delivered.
Moon Dragon in front, Oliver pushing the favourite clear. Moon Dragon 2 in front, Night Chaser ducked in, and Moon Dragon wins it. Moon Dragon 2 lengths to Night Chaser.
Moon Dragon paying $3 and $1.30. The trifecta on 4, 10 and 5, just under $800. Greg Childs teamed with Tony McAvoy to steer Fields of Omar home in the Hong Kong Jockey Club Plate.
Fields of Omar in front of Shot of Thunder. Thong Classic runs on. Fields of Omar got clear though. 2 lengths to Shot of Thunder, Thong Classic. Fields of Omar's home. Fields of Omar by 2 lengths.
Fields of Omar paying $7.10 and $2.70 for the win. Thong Classic second, $1.90, Shot of Thunder, $3.70. And a number of spills in the hurdle. Michael Moroney's He's Back on Track had to be put down after this fall.
He wanted to drift out a little bit. Oh, he's back on track. The favourite's fallen.
Classic Tudor OK after sliding underneath the running rail. Joy for Jenny Chapman with Torval and Dean saluting.
What a thrill. This is fantastic, Pete. Oh, every owner's dream, I would think, on Cup Day.
Stick around, there is more of Sports Tonight coming up.